Hi everybody, it is Forbidden and we have another reality user tutorial. We have DizVoices in the studio today. Everybody, Diz! Alright, Diz, please introduce yourself.
Okay, well, hi everyone. Uh, Hello everybody, Forbes friends, internet, random aliens that might be watching us.
You know it.
Um, my name is Diz. I'm I go by Diz Voices on Reality, and I am just a big goofball who's in love with foxes, and I'm your fox prince. How you doing?
And he does VA workshops because he's a VA. Mm-hmm. Um, but I didn't
Oh
say
yeah, I
anything.
do that from time to time. I make the funny voices and waste away in front of mic in a booth talking to myself all day. Yep, that's me.
So Diz, do you consider yourself a VTuber?
um, I mean, I consider myself a VTuber in the fact that I stream and I use models.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
as far as like a professional like gig VTubing wise,
mm-hmm.
not so much. I'd
Okay.
probably put myself in like a casual category, I should say. Yeah.
Okay. Casual. How familiar are you with the subculture that is VTubing inside the streamer space?
I know a little bit about it.
Mm,
Mostly through Twitch. Um, a few people from Twitch have their avatars, and some of them are some good friends of mine, and they use their avatars for streaming, and I would
mhm.
consider that VTubing.
Okay.
But they do it on a more consistent basis, and they get money off of it. So,
All right. Um, so how do you use reality? Like, what type of content do you make?
mostly I just try and entertain people. I spread around some voice acting knowledge. I've been an indie voice actor for about 6 years, and I use this platform to create characters for auditions and do my cold reading practice. And so I have
Mhm.
like a live audience to help me. Um, and then if anybody's interested in voice acting or what the heck I'm doing talking to myself on the stream, I can let them up and we can do little fun mini games and workouts that I've been doing. And I
Mhm.
just kind of introduce people to voice acting, see if they like it or if they're pros. We just have a little bit of fun.
Okay.
And that's what I ultimately want to do is just have fun, do my practices, and introduce people to my world, my little booth, secluded box world.
So, Diz,
Yes.
how did you start with VA work? How did you start being a voice actor?
Um, well, actually, I attribute it to a lot to my family. My dad, he was a big theater person, and I would watch a lot of plays he was in and a bunch of musicals and stuff. And so when I started reading, I would read like play scripts
Okay.
and like the usual like Dr. Seuss and stuff like that. But since I grew up with a dad that did the acting and everything, I
Mhm.
always got read to in voices. So I always grew up reading in voices. Like even when I started, I would always try and put on a funny voice or like try and imagine what sort of voice a character would have, even if it was like the Berenstain Bears, each one had a different voice. And
Okay.
so I would say that was my start, but I didn't start like pursuing it as a career
Mhm.
until about 6 years ago.
Okay.
But I've always had fun messing around with my voice and imitating and stuff like that.
So, this how does one take the jump into voice acting? I feel like it's the question a lot of people would have because voice acting is a very niche field and it's a lot of fun. I love voice acting, but how would you recommend someone enter in?
I would just start by going over like the free materials out there, um, and just throwing your voice out there. Even before you look into it, just get comfortable with your voice. Look at random street signs when you're in the car and just read them aloud.
Mm,
Go to your favorite books and read the back cover. Um, like look at a random image and say, huh, I wonder what sort of voice this has, and just start experimenting with your voice. So the first step in voice acting is just getting comfortable with your voice, I should say. And then after that, you can just start looking around. There are lots of free materials out there. Even professionals have websites on the
mm.
subject. Um, so, yeah, just get your voice out there and then start looking around. Google it up is how I would
Yeah,
start it.
I do suggest Googling because it will help you find gigs that are closest to you. Because some people may be like, oh, yeah, I'm looking for this type of voice, and you may fit that voice, but you just aren't in, like, some places aren't able to hire abroad, right? They're not a big studio where they can have people sending in home recordings for like long term for the project. So sometimes location does matter, and then there are places like workshops. This holds a like a virtual version of a VA workshop on reality, but there are in-person VA workshops as well that you can go to, as well as conferences and other like ways to further your path as a VA. And they're all over. They're not just in like one
And
specific
I will,
type.
go
Oh, sorry, go. Go, Diz. No, go.
ahead. I will, I will clarify with the stuff I do on reality. I
Mm,
always point to professional classes because what I do is more practice than anything else. I'm
mm,
not a
mm,
professional coach or anything. I just spread around what I've learned and just like do the like implement stuff I've learned. And if anybody's interested in what I've done, I'll tell them what I'm doing. But
mm,
I
mm,
always point to the teachers that taught me and point to actual classes. The stuff I do on reality does not it does not substitute for going to an actual class, learning in front
mm,
of an actual
mm,
teacher. So just keep that in mind.
mm, mm. Well, you also have to think about mic quality too. Like you may sound a certain way on reality, but then you go and you do an audition, you may sound a little bit different because of your mic quality that you use. And as Diz and I were talking at the beginning of the interview, we were having a little bit of a tech issue because reality doesn't really support like the super high
Yeah.
quality mics, and they're just a little bit too powerful for the audio magic that occurs. So you can use other mics. You don't have to use the mic that's in your phone. Um, but if you have something that's a little bit too too much, you turn into a robot. um, so Diz,
Just a little bit.
do you have anything special though for your streams, like for as a stream setup, for when you do stream on reality?
I'd say the biggest thing is just keeping my phone steady. I have
Mm,
a ring light I attach it to, um, just to keep my phone steady and so I can have my hands free and message better and stuff instead of holding it forever.
mm, mm,
I've tried, like you've mentioned, I've tried to use my professional setup. It doesn't quite work. So I just stick with earbuds, my phone, and a music stand or my ring light.
okay,
And it does pretty well for me. It does pretty well.
okay. All right. Hmm. How did you find reality?
That was actually through one of my voice acting groups. Is it okay if I shout out
Yeah,
all of
no,
them?
shout them out. Shout them out. If you have their handles on Twitter or TikTok or wherever they are, let me
Okay,
have them. I'll
okay.
tag them.
Yeah. So, I was actually part of a group called Hidden Talents of the Underworld. It was a voice acting group off of the karaoke app Smule,
Okay.
and it was through the members on there, and one of the two of the wait, I'm not exactly sure who hopped on first, but the
Mhm.
one that like pulled me over was Lord Psychosis.
Oh,
He was
I
the
was
one of
like,
the
ghost.
leaders of the group.
Yes. Okay.
And yeah, yeah, yeah. So, he's like, guys, I found this like VTubing app, and like we can practice our voice acting over here, and we can grow our group, and we can do stuff. Like, you need to join me. This is like the best thing ever. I already have like a gajillion followers. You
Mm-hmm,
guys need to
mm-hmm,
join me. I'm like, support. And I'm like, okay. So I downloaded this little whatever app called Reality. I have no idea what that is. So, and I'm like, okay, I'll just sit in your streams and support you and see what
mm-hmm.
this is all about. And after a couple of streams, he was like, dude, you need to do some of your own streams instead of just sitting in mine. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't know if I'll get any traction.
Mm-hmm.
But I eventually started to stream, and a few people liked my voice, and I started figuring out that I could like make little caricatures on here and use that to my advantage when creating characters for auditions that I do.
Okay.
And it just kind of went from there.
All right. Diz, how
Yeah.
long have you been on reality?
So I started at the end of July 2 years ago. So I just had my 2 year anniversary.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Have you ever
yeah.
taken a hiatus?
A little bit.
Okay.
There was a point last year, like right before and during, I had a surgery that I took a little bit of a break.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I've been fairly consistent. I may miss
Okay.
a few streams here and there, like, and lose my daily streak, but
Oh, that daily
I'm
streak.
fairly consistent on here. At least do the little 15-minute daily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, why do you stay? Why have you not left?
um, Mostly because it feels like when you leave reality, you go on to like Twitch streaming or like big VTuber groups and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I've never had the passion to do so.
Okay.
Uh, I've always just like staying within the app, and I have friends here, people who like my streams,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have a lot to learn, a lot to make, a lot to help others with. So I just kind of stick around and hope that people enjoy and you know help each other along.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So obviously we know about your VA work, but do you have any experience as a different type of
Hmm.
streamer or content creator before joining reality?
Uh, yeah. So like I said, I found reality through a group on Smule, the karaoke app.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to do a lot of voice acting and singing there. I used to have a little singing group on Smule. I'm actually part of several singing groups on Smule, mostly
Oh,
Disney. But
okay.
yeah, I used to create a lot of Disney content. I used to go through I made like little projects on there. One of them it was called Disney Through the Ages, where I took every single animated Disney feature and
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
did any and every voice I could from it and sang every song from the feature like you were
Mm-hmm.
going through the movie. So like I
Oh,
made kind of mini movies on there for the Disney features.
that's
Yeah,
fun. All right, who
that's how I gained
is
my following on Smule. Yeah,
who's your favorite Disney voice to do?
I have so many.
I know, but
My
which
favorite
one?
Disney character. I know.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Disney movie and character of all time is Hunchback of Notre Dame. I
Oh,
love Quasi. He's like my twin from Disney, if I had one. I
okay,
connect
okay,
with him a lot because I am also physically disabled, and I
okay.
liked seeing, um, someone in the theater. I was like 3 when it came out, but I remember instantly connecting with like the soft-spoken, really nice hero that
Mm-hmm.
also had some physical disabilities, and like I connected with him, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I love
Mm-hmm.
him. And so him, and then of course, um, I was known for like the first year on Smule as Smule's Piglet because people always said I
Okay.
sounded like Piglet. And so I started doing I started doing the voice, and everybody's like, "You're Piglet," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks."
Oh my goodness. Oh
um,
my goodness. Do you regret ever being
so
known as Piglet?
I do a decent Piglet. It's really weird. It comes in waves. It comes in waves, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
for a while, like that's how everybody knew me. You're the Piglet guy. You're the guy that can do Piglet voice. And then it kind of died down. It kind of died down after I did some more voices. Like,
Mm-hmm.
fun fact, again, Lord Psychosis, when I met him and joined his voice acting group,
Mm-hmm.
he actually called me a mini Cusco. Because
Oh.
the first the first voice acting thing I joined him in
Mm-hmm.
that made him want me to audition for his group was Emperor's New Groove scene.
Okay.
And what was it? It was like the it was like the
Mm.
intro where Cusco and Yzma and Kronk are all introduced, and they have
Oh,
that like,
okay.
you know, who's
Yeah,
in my chair,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah.
I like how I'm hand gesturing and I'm like, oh right, my body's not
Very
tracking
good,
my arms.
Kronk. Yeah.
All right. Oh, but that's fun though. That's a fun fun
um,
fact about Diz.
yeah.
So, do you
Yeah. And
think
then of course I have my other favorites. I love anything voiced by Jason Marsden.
I mean, that's a good person to like their voice of.
I
Like,
could
it's
go
a
on
lot of
forever.
different
I'll
ones.
let you go. Okay, I'll keep this going.
But do you think your
I'll,
experience there
yeah,
has helped
let's keep
you
going.
as
I
a
won't
streamer
stop.
on reality?
Yes, yes, I do. There's a live feature on Smule.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have little caricatures. I had to show my face, but
Ew, faces, what?
uh, ew, gross. No, but
We're joking, we're joking. We love ourselves, we love our face.
I use
Sometimes.
I yeah. I sometimes, but yeah, I would do some lives on there and duet and join like my Disney group friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think part of that live experience helped me especially jump into like just being live on reality all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so that I didn't have to show my face. I could just
That's right.
customize an avatar and be
Mm-hmm.
like, this is nice.
This is who I am. This is who I am today. I could change it in a second.
Yeah,
And
I could
I
change it.
like it from the aspect of
Yeah.
like when developing a character, I can help make the appearance of the character that I'm trying to make the voice for. Um, that's that's some of the things I enjoy of
Hmm.
having a character
Hmm.
instead of my own face when developing voices. Because other times I just look at my face and I'm like, oh, I need to talk with my voice. And then I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. Um, so
Not what we're doing.
after after joining reality, have you expanded at all of your social media reach? Like, have you started making like YouTubes or streaming on Twitch some, maybe using Instagram, TikToks, things like that? Do you have any of those for your
Uh,
these voices?
yeah, I do. I do a little bit of TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a little bit of TikTok. I do a little bit of Instagram. Again, it's all voice acting related. I
Mm-hmm.
made a couple of skits with my reality avatars on TikTok.
Ooh.
I had this big plan, right? For my
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had this big plan with TikTok where I'd be like, I would make like mini scripts with the characters I've created on reality, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
use those as my like little uploads for TikTok and stuff. But life got in the way, and I've only been able to do like two. So,
Okay, okay. Two is still better than none, and you still have the idea, and you can always do it as you have the character still. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I heard your process of like you have your voice and then you make a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you make the character and then find a voice?
It's typically I it's a concept. I have a concept of what the character is, but I haven't developed the character and I develop the voice first. And then as the voice is developing, that's how I design the character. Because sometimes, I do throw in a little more push edge, or maybe I add deeper tones. It's not as high, or maybe I have it go really high. And so depending on the voice will then depend on the style of clothing I have like the character do, or like the haircut, or even like their color scheme.
Gotcha. So I do it backwards compared to you. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure. Yeah.
So
So
you're
I have a
designing.
concept and
Okay.
I figure out like what I have in my wardrobe
Mm-hmm.
and then I design a character that I think would look cool and then I stare at it for a bit and I'm like, what's this guy's story? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I start making the voice and finding, my inspiration for the voice. And,
Yeah, no, we really do. So our
but
first step is the
I have
same,
the
but then we
character and the
flip them.
backstory
Yeah,
first.
no, no, we flip them.
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Um, so what advice would you give to somebody who wants to get into streaming? And then the follow-up question will be, what advice do you wish you had when you first started? So like thinking the Diz of now could go back in the past to talk to the Diz who just started out. So general and then personal.
Uh-huh. Uh, so generally speaking, if you'd like to start streaming, I I think that reality is a good starting point. It's
Mm.
free. It's not as what's the word?
Complicated.
And that's mean.
Um,
I'm like, it's not as popular as TikTok and Twitch. Um, it has a smaller audience. Like it's
well, it's live
it,
streaming.
it's
That's what
good to
it
start out
is.
in because it has a smaller audience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's live streaming. The
yeah,
thing is, you can have a
and
fairly big amount of followers. You can grow a good following on reality, but because it is live,
hmm
you don't really. I like it because I don't have to worry about the camera. I can just if I say something that's kind
yeah.
of out there, I don't really have to worry about it being on the internet forever and being known as the piglet guy.
Not you too. Um,
I sorry, I couldn't this.
oh, did you hear? Why me?
But so yeah,
Are
what?
you done?
Yes, continue. Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, generally speaking, it's kind of like voice acting. You just have to kind of jump into it and see if you like it, and find a platform that's comfortable for you.
Mhm,
I liked reality just because it was smaller, and like
mhm,
I could build like my confidence up through these like especially if you're not comfortable showing your face. Like
mhm.
these little characters are really fun. Um, So it puts a barrier in front of you. It makes it so you are streaming, but it's not as much pressure as like face streaming, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, what's that? If
Advice
okay,
that you
and then
would
as
give to
far
yourself.
as what I would tell myself 2 years ago,
Mhm.
yeah. As far as reality streaming, don't underestimate the bots and don't underestimate the people that follow you because of your You already know where I'm going with
I
this.
know exactly
Okay,
where you're going with this. I'm
so
wondering if you're going to confess to
don't
it.
don't. Un- I'm gonna confess to it. So okay, so I thought, my friend was popping off. He was getting like thousands of followers on there, and I'm like, okay, cool. He has a niche. He has
Mm-hmm.
people who simp after him, and like I was like, cool, cool. I'm not gonna get that because I am a very much different streamer than him. I'm gonna set little stream goals, to make myself feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'll do this type of stream at 50 follows, and this type of stream at
Mm-hmm.
like 100, and 200. What's a good like large goal? And then I started looking around, and at the time, everybody was all into like this really weird like thing called an aura stream, where like for some reason people for so I don't get it. I really
It's
don't.
I really don't
But
because so
for
for
some
what this
reason
is
people were
talking
like
about
so
is the
intrigued.
ara ara. And it's just in Japanese it's just as like oh my, right? That's literally what it kind of translates to, but it
Oh
was a
my. Yeah.
huge thing.
It was a huge thing when I first started reality. I mean, it still is around, but
Mhm.
like it was huge. And I'm like, okay, you know what? If I get 500 follows, I'll do an Ara Ara stream. I'm never going to get 500 follows. This is fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good.
And then
And
it
then
wasn't.
about 2 months in, congrats, you reached 500 follows. And I'm like, well, crap. Don't underestimate the random bot follows, and don't underestimate people who follow you just because of your avatar. They will
Yes,
never
yes.
show up in your streams, but it still counts.
But it still counts. So Diz, will you give us one of those ara aras? Can we get one of those? No, you're not gonna give the interview one of your goals that you had for 500. You're way past that now.
Okay, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Just for you, Forby. Just for you. All
Yay.
right? Here we go. You ready?
Hmm.
This is gonna be so amazing. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my, oh my, oh
That
dear.
was such a great one. Yes.
Mm,
It was beautiful.
that was one of the best I've ever heard. And so yeah, do think about when you set yourself up and you give yourself stream goals and like follower goals. Um, just know you can really grow fast, and some people literally will just follow when they see that you have this the goal of follows, and you'll do something silly because they're like, everybody loves free humor. um, so you've been here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Is there something on reality that you would like to try but you just haven't tried yet?
Um, Not really. I mean, I've tried like the typical streams, like the avatar ratings and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, which,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, as far as like wanting to try stuff, I guess trying more big events, because I
Okay.
usually don't go towards those because they're super competitive and kind of
Mm-hmm.
annoying.
Okay. Okay.
But I need to get over that. I need to like jump towards those a little more.
Okay.
Specific.
Okay. So what type of plan would you have
But
trying to jump into the bigger event scenes?
planning.
Okay.
I've tried the bigger events before,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always told to plan. And so like the first big event I tried was the sticker event,
Mm-hmm.
which you for those of you out there who are new to reality and don't know events, there is an event called a sticker event where if you get the top three, you get a custom sticker
Mm.
added to the little stream gifts you can give.
For those of you who don't know
which
what a
which is
sticker
really
is,
fun because I have a stream
it's an
sticker on
emote.
mine. Yeah, it's a little emote that you can spam if you have points.
Mm.
Um, and I have a really fun one that I still have in
Mm.
case I ever win it. But I was like, everybody's like, oh, you need a plan for it, and I'm like, okay, and I didn't know the scope of it,
Mm. Mm.
so I started announcing it about like a week and a half in advance. I'm like, hey, guys,
Mm.
I'm gonna try this thing, and everybody's like, oh, you did it too late, dude. Or like people would come up and be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you really sure? Do you know what
Mm.
you're getting into? I'm looking out for you. It's kind of crazy. Are you sure you want to do this?
Mm.
You
Mm.
should probably just stay in your lane and do backgrounds. You probably shouldn't enter. Are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yes, I'm trying it out. Thank you
Mm.
for your concern. It's getting kind of annoying.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but
Did you find that
I would definitely
discouraging when
plan it a little more
people
in
were like,
advance.
"Oh, you should not try"?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I would have people like stop by and they're like, well, I don't know you. Like, I'm not, I mean, I don't consider myself a big streamer. Um, in terms of like big. And
Mm.
so like people would pop by and they'd be like, oh, you're doing sticker. Who are you? Like,
Mm. Mm.
um, so like when people would be like, hey, yeah, you probably shouldn't do it because so and so is doing it, or oh,
Mm.
you probably shouldn't do it because yeah, it's your first time and you won't make it. Like,
Mm.
save yourself the heartache. I'm like, I'm doing this for fun, guys.
Okay.
But it did start weighing on me. It did start weighing on me. Like, I would have people come in, especially during the event, and I'd be like,
Mm.
hey, if you have any points to spare, like help me along with the
Mm.
sticker.
Mm.
And a lot of people would just be like, oh, I'm just stopping by for points, or oh, I'm going to use these points for another person in the sticker event.
Okay.
Sorry, bye.
Okay.
You know, stuff like that. Um, so I would, between like the people who are like, are you sure you want to do this? And like the people who just kind of stopped by for nothing,
Mm.
it did weigh on me, which is why
Okay.
I haven't done another sticker event yet. But
So, how
I'm
did
like,
you
it's
as a
not worth it
streamer?
if I'm gonna get drama just from that.
No, no, I understand that. I have really big reservations about doing the sticker event. I've been talked into doing it this upcoming October. Um, um, so I'm incredibly nervous about doing it, and I'm just, I don't know how I got talked into it, honestly. Um, so, what advice would you have for people who are like me, who have been talked into it, or people who may not have like the biggest followings, regarding this event?
I would say stay out of your head.
Okay.
Do it for the people that want you to do it. Do it for yourself, and don't think about the people that are gonna come in and troll it or try and discourage you from doing it. Uh, just do it because you want to do it. Do it because it'll be fun with the people who are in it.
Hmm.
Um, and if you win, you win. If you don't, well, it was a good ride. You can try again next month. You know.
I love that. I love that, Diz. And it really is like it makes me feel better knowing that like it's okay to fail. Like, and it's not going to ruin you. It's not going to harm you in any way if you don't make top three. Um, okay. Anyways, before I start crying over me being inside my head, do you think your personal culture
You'll
affects how
you'll
you
you'll
stream?
you'll do you'll do great.
um,
My personal culture, as
yeah.
in,
So like your personal culture, this can be everything that like so think of the things that make you as a person up and how that affects this. So this could be like your social economical, where you grew up, your ethnic background, your generational background, like Gen X, Gen Z, millennial, um all of those
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
aspects. How that makes you as a person.
I
Does that
mean,
affect how you
I
stream
mean,
at all?
I'm, I think it does. Especially when you start talking about the generations. I'm an oldie. I'm a millennial. Oh.
Oh
So,
no! Surprise! So am I!
uh, oh. So, I feel like millennials have a very different set of streaming than like the newer generations.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since we were like the last generation to like have the old and then shove into the new.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gen X had a transition, but they were a little older by the time like streaming came out.
Mm-hmm.
I think millennials, we had like a fair mix of half and half,
Mm-hmm.
where like we didn't quite have a streaming culture, and then all of a sudden we had a streaming culture. Um, and then everybody after us was just like, oh, we've always had this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we got to see both sides. So I think that made millennials and everybody older than millennial have like a, a better appreciation for streaming in a way,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like a more rounded approach to streaming. Like we can take it and be like, okay, this is our stream, but we're not going to go overboard and we're not going to like divulge crazy stuff
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because we also know the other side, sort of deal.
Stranger danger is a real
Um,
thing,
so
okay?
I feel like we are stranger danger. Yeah, stranger danger. Oh my gosh, it's like nobody knows that anymore. Um, but I would say bad pun incoming. By the way, I will say that I feel like because of my culture and from the way I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
just my generation and like my type of streamer, we are more grounded in reality. Uh-huh. Uh, uh. um, but and then as far as anything else culture-wise, like I grew up in a big family,
Mm-hmm.
and I between me and one of my brothers, we were very much mediators. So
Okay.
in my family, you either yelled over everybody else or you stayed quiet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And um, because I didn't like yelling, I became very soft-spoken. I became the one to help and not escalate,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which makes my sort of streaming very chill, um, and very like teaching oriented.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not going to be very bombastic. It's not going to be high energy out there. I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can go high energy out there depending on the character I use,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be like that all the
But you're
time.
not a hype streamer where that
Me
that is
as
your
a streamer,
content. Yeah.
I'm not a hype. I'm not a hype streamer. I can hype people up if it's needed. So
Mm-hmm.
like if I
Mm-hmm.
see a need, I will do it. But if there's no need to do it, I'm not going to sit there and do
Okay.
it.
Okay. And then, is this your first reality account?
Yes, this is my one and only reality account. If reality, if you're listening, if you do anything to my account, well, nice knowing you.
Yeah. All right. All right. Um, we have gotten some new features recently within last week. We've got the new UI and we've also got Reality Room. Reality Room allows you to have even more streaming assets. Have you used the Room feature at all?
I've used the room a little bit.
Hmm.
It's not. I haven't really explored what it all has to offer.
Okay.
Um, but I do like how you can like still zoom in and out, and
Mm-hmm.
you can be in a different environment and your character can be in a different situation while streaming,
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just kind of standing awkwardly with your frozen hands, not being able to do anything but kind of sway back and forth.
Okay, okay. Um,
um, and then it's yeah, yeah.
okay. So, do you think the room could help you at all with your VA workshop stuff? With like helping setting the scene?
I think in some ways, I really like the couches and the beds
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, for um, just the different poses. The
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
couches especially because like if you're doing like an interview or a questionnaire or a podcasty thing, like
Mm-hmm.
just having that person beside you and kind of being able to do the emotions and like the little emotes while you're sitting down. And it makes it feel like a little virtual podcast or virtual classroom. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
fun.
Okay. All right. I'm like looking at my list of questions. Um, I think that's everything, Diz. I think that's all of the questions. Do you have any last words
Yeah,
that you would like to tell everybody?
cool. Um, like I tell everybody, follow your passions, live your dreams, and just keep being awesome. Keep being awesome.
I love
Because you
that.
all are awesome whether you realize it or not.
All right. Thank you so much, Diz. Arigato. Thank you for coming and interviewing with me.
Sure.
I really do appreciate it. All right. Jinna.
All right.